One. Hey, everybody, welcome in. The Tee to Green crew is back, and it's the end of 2021. We're looking ahead to 2022. It's our annual year in review podcast. Thanks for joining us here, Brian Koziol, Kevin Sylvester, PGA Pro, Jeff Mietus. It's great to see everybody. It obviously has been a long golf year and a good golf year for many of us here, and we're here to talk about it with you. Excitement about what happened in Western New York, excitement what happened in the world on the PGA Tour, and we are turning the page onto 2022 with more exciting things that we'll talk about at the end of our podcast. But we're going to start with the PGA Tour. We love talking about the best players in the world. Kevin, I mean, what storylines did we get this year? Incredible stuff. We look at who won the majors, who won the player of the year. The FedEx Cup playoffs had incredible drama with Patrick Cantlay and Bryson DeChambeau. You've got Phil Mickelson's historic win at the PGA, Jon Rahm's dominating year. What's the number one story of the year for the PGA Tour? You covered it for PGA Tour Radio a lot here. I mean, there's so many good storylines.
There are so many, and to decide, what's number one, it's hard to sit here as we're recording this in December, a week after Tiger was returned to golf.
Yes.
And right. I mean, that accident was the number one story because it cost Tiger competing, almost cost him his leg. And the fact that I know it was a scramble, a hit and giggle, as they call it, but the fact that he could go out there and play, that's pretty special. So to me, that's the number one story, with Phil Mickelson winning the PGA Championship at 1A. Kind of like their careers. It's always been Tiger, and Phil's kind of been 1A.
How about the TV ratings for the PNC versus the British Open? Did you see that?
I did not see that. No.
Yeah, the PNC, you can probably explain it better than I can, Brian. The PNC outrated the Open Championship on Sunday. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. And by the way, that's also with that being an NFL weekend too. There were NFL games on. So that just shows the power of Tiger and his return, and people were excited to see him come back. Mickelson's accomplishment at his age to put that together on a super hard course, I thought was probably maybe the golf accomplishment of the year. To me, the human story of the year, maybe the most interesting was, would Tiger be able to come back? Could he come back? The fact that he did this with his son and then he had a chance to win too, Kev. I mean, the level of golf that he played, it wasn't even like, oh, it's great to have him back. Yeah, that was there, but he had even had a chance to win. He played some high level golf too.
He did, limping though noticeably. So that's why, I think that the returns will be delayed, like what a lot of people are eyeing the Masters. Still possible. This is Tiger. Anything's possible, right? But the limp and being able to go after it, I don't know. Maybe a summer return at an Open Championship may be more reasonable because of the taxing it would be. But I don't know. To sit here and speculate. But Tiger's one who moves the needle. That's why we started talking about him. But can I give a 1C? I'd 1A, 1B. But I just thinking about that, you're talking about all these things that occurred, and I'm like, well, Colin Morikawa won the Open Championship, and really, you look at what he's able to do. Look what Patrick Cantlay was able to do. Jon Rahm winning a major. The emergence of some stars, some younger stars too. I mean, the game is deep, very deep, and in great hands going forward. So. Yes, it's always better with Tiger. That's what the PNC shows because of ratings. But boy, when you look at how many good players there are in professional golf, it's going to be great for years to come.
And I think that's Tiger's legacy to the game, right? And I watched the PNC or the other tournament, and I see Tiger's ball speed, and I see a lot of things. I've counted Tiger out 10 times in my life. 100, yeah, we've all had. And then to watch him on one leg, which is the least important leg in the golf swing, and the right leg, they're both important, but and getting ball speeds within 10 miles an hour of Justin Thomas throughout that, I don't know that he's as far away as maybe we think. And the problem is, can he walk? Right? He took a cart during that event. And to walk 72 holes is a whole different event. And I think that's why he might have compared himself to Hogan after his car
Sure.
accident during one of his things. Here's a question, Kev. You've seen the tour all year. Who was the most impressive player to you this year? I mean, you're out there at the events. You're toe to toe with these guys. You're on the putting greens. Like if you had to pick a guy in your foursome, who's the guy you're picking right now to play with as your partner? The most impressive tour player you thought this year?
Oh, well, I mean, John Rahm. He's got it all.
Mhm.
And I love his passion, his fire that he brings. So yeah, if I go week in and week out, it is Rombo. I want him in my group, and he's an excellent guy. Like, I haven't seen much change except for the people around him, meaning, he's got more handlers, if you will, or entourage, because he's a world number one. He's a star now.
Well, since he got on our show, things have perked up for him.
Right. Yes. It's the tee to green kick there.
That's right.
But the fact that, I could reach out to him and he's like, yeah, I'll come on your show during the pandemic, because I followed him when he first came on the tour, and personally, he hasn't changed. It hasn't gone to his head. So I think he's a great guy. He's grounded, if you will, for someone who's always destined to be a star. And so that's maybe I was a little biased there too, because I just always had great interaction with him. Even, I remember one tournament I had a red shirt on, which, by the way, Brian, very festive wearing the red. I'm close in maroon, but a red shirt on with blue pants and a white cap. And he comes with his, what are you, Captain America today? I just, during a tournament while he's trying to win a tournament. So him, and then a close second will be Cantlay. I mean, we can't overlook what he did in the playoffs, and that head to head with DeChambeau, man. I was there at Caves Valley, and it was incredible. That was a tiger-like display of putting from Patrick Cantlay. Well, it was, in fact, in the ShotLink era, it was the best putting performance in PGA Tour history, in the ShotLink era, for strokes gained. It was incredible. And you could look at it on paper and say, wow, that's unbelievable. +8, and I'm like, to see it, you just knew he wasn't going to miss. It was that good.
That playoff it was at the second round of the BMW of the three, where DeChambeau looks like he's going to win, and then Cantlay makes the longer putt. Then DeChambeau goes in the water and then is able to recover. Yeah. Every time you think he's got it, and then Cantlay would make that medium length putt. His putting display was just tremendous. I mean, you mentioned Rahm. To answer Jeff's question, I know he asked you, I would probably say Rahm too. Remember, he also had another win that was taken away because he tested positive for COVID before the final round, that he had a huge lead in. So he could have had another really big win along the way, along his path for this year. But Cantlay and DeChambeau there made those playoffs so good. And that just shows the depth, as you mentioned, Kevin, to start the tour. I mean, Morikawa goes on not only to win the Open Championship, but then at the end of the year goes over and wins all those European events and becomes the European Tour money leader there. So he really is a guy. He's got 2 majors already at this very young age. I mean, that's a guy for us to keep an eye on. And let's even remember, too, the Masters win, in terms of its impact on global golf, Hideki Matsuyama winning, and what it does for Asians and Asian golf. I mean, that was just, we know he's always been a hero in Japan, and now he's a hero forever with him winning the Masters. So you think about these majors with Matsuyama, Phil at the PGA, you already mentioned, Rahm at the US Open, finally gets his major, making those putts on those final 2 holes. Then Morikawa at the Open. I mean, 4 great majors. The playoffs couldn't have pulled out better. And then even this, I guess you call it the end of season story with Tiger returning. I mean, there was some really, really good golf here along the way. And Jeff, I didn't even mention an historic Ryder Cup for the United States too. I mean, that you throw that in with the return of fans to golf, at full capacity, and you've got another historic win there.
And let's not forget the Olympics. Xander Schauffele and Nelly Korda. Let's not forget that.
I don't want to forget Nelly Korda.
Right.
I want to jump in on Nelly Korda because I think she has brought a cachet to the LPGA Tour that we haven't had in a long time. And I think the LPGA Tour made greater leaps this year as far as public perception and fan base and the quality of golf being played than they've had in years. And I think a lot of that's because of Nelly Korda.
Yeah, Nelly.
Yeah, she's a fantastic player and personnel. And I love that they included her at the PNC Championship with her dad. And it was a great scene with her asking Tiger for a photo. Even better, I don't know if she got one with Justin or not, but it's just like, just Tiger, Thomas is standing right there.
Hey, Dustin, all you guys.
Matter of fact, Justin should have asked to get his picture taken with Nelly Korda. That's how good she is.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with that completely. And I think that's just emblematic of what's going on in golf now. Golf's growing. I think, even though Tiger's maybe stepped away and not been in the foreground, I think golf as an industry, as a television product, as everything has had the last 2 years have been great for golf, and to see something like Nelly Korda and Tiger come back, all these things portend to another great year in 2022. As good as 2021 was coming out of that pandemic, it was a great year for golf and a fun year to watch it on TV and play. That's for sure.
And whether you want to view it as a positive or a negative, there was a lot of juice in the season as well, with Koepka and DeChambeau having their little saga that, let's face it, whether you personally liked it or not, whether you liked what they were doing or not, eyeballs, social media views all came in because of those two at some point going at it. We know they had the match later, about a month or so ago on Thanksgiving weekend. So there was lots of great things to talk about. And you're right, Jeff, we saw it at courses. I mean, all three of us being at courses all across Western New York, the buzz at public courses, private courses across Western New York, events, charity, like all these things, young, old, male, female, all these participants that were getting the growth, not only, and the buzz happened with the professionals, but even locally here for all of us playing as amateurs, it was pretty impressive to see how much growth that we saw. Kev, I mean, these courses were jammed, and it's great for golf, and people are excited to play.
Yeah, they were. And for those just listening or aren't watching this on our channel, Jeff had you look like a floating head there for a while.
I felt like I looked like Steve Jobs for a second. Just a head, just being a beard.
Or it was like a bad episode of Sprockets.
I thought it was, it was a bad SNL skit right there with the floating head.
I'm glad I turned the light on. Yeah.
But Brian, to your point, yes, golf is thriving now, and it's thriving in our area in Western New York. It's thriving all over the place, and it's really great to see. And what I think it's helped with, we talk about the story of the year in golf on the professional tours. I think the story of the year locally in Western New York, due to that, the golf scene coming on, I think the success of new ownership in local golf courses. I think that has been the story.
Good point, Cap. That's a very good point.
The members who took over at the Tantera, what they're able to do to become Pendleton Creek, and the energy that they brought. The new owners of Diamond Hawk. I mean, everything they're doing over there, even now in the off season, food and beverage. Attica, I know we're a couple years into it, but what Scotty Howard's doing out there at Attica is fantastic. You got the guys. I haven't been over to the Clover Bank, the former Briarwood, but I know that members there are excited about what the new ownership's bringing there. And, Fox got taken over, and I'm interested to see what they're able to do. And there might be another one I'm forgetting out there, but right now, just those new owners to see what they've been able to do here. And I'll go with our friend Tim Freese at Glen Oak, just to see what has happened in that building and the remodel and the patio, and just what he's done to the golf course there. I think the popularity of the game has allowed these new owners to take some of those funds from daily fees and membership dues to put it back in the course, because they know they're going to it's going to benefit their members, and it's going to benefit them revenue wise.
Well, few industries have grown like golf has in the last 2 years, and from a downward turn to an upward turn. I want to say rounds were up again 20%. The numbers are outstanding for golf, and I think it's an appeal because our game is so good. This is why we get to talk about this every week and in the summer, and why we have so much fun playing the game and doing this, because it's such a great game. And I think the pandemic, all this stuff has drawn more people into golf and made it better. And then the stories on the macro side, the Tiger, the Nellies, the Ryder Cup, the Colin Morikawas, all these things that are going on have made golf just so much fun for the last year or so.
Well, and I want to credit Jeff, you and all. Kevin, you mentioned the ownership, and it also.
They're going to credit me. I'll take credit. No, go ahead.
You're the reason golf has grown, Kevin.
Okay, thank you. Finally, someone said it.
Yeah.
All right, we're done.
We
solved it.
All the shirts you own.
Your point, I will give you credit for, that the ownership at places, and where I'm a member at Pendleton Creek, I see it, where people are excited to be around golf courses again, and it's creativity in terms of what makes an enjoyable day. And Jeff, I will piggyback on that, not only with owners who are willing to maybe take chances, but also with PGA professionals. And Jeff, I know you know them. There are some that have thought there's only one way to run a golf course and only one way to play golf for many years. And we've seen that attitude change. And I think many golf professionals have embraced that, Jeff. And I think that's a big piece of why it's growing. We're seeing different ways to play. We're seeing more younger people starting to play, people picking up the game at any age level. And there's not necessarily this, well, you come to the golf course, you play 18 holes, you go home. And if you're not good, then you shouldn't come back. Like that sort of thing, like that's way in the past. I think that's something that has really, really made it thrive here, and especially locally too.
And I think I think a lot of it's public perception too. You said all those things you just said are stereotypes of the golf. Now you're seeing more golf courses designed in 6-hole loops. So you come back after 6, after 12, after 18. You're seeing it's not the financial barriers, the stigma barriers, all those things, all the time barriers have been broken down in golf. It's even little things like watching a tour player play a practice round in shorts. Like, why is that such a big deal? I understand I'm a PGA professional. I wear pants. You compete, you wear full length. It's not the end of the world to wear, another 18 inches of pants on but just things like that, and the fun, the Koepka matches, the Tiger, the PNC, all the different getting inside the ropes and seeing these players play in the different formats and things like PGA Junior League and scrambles and 9-hole matches and long drive and drive, chip and putt. All those things add to the broth that is golf. And I feel like it's been a growing game, and it's going in the right direction because it's more inclusive. More people are getting in. More people are playing 9 holes. I love playing 9 holes. It's not the end of the world to play 9 holes. And all those things make golf more fun. And I think that's what's making the game better and bringing more people, more athletes into the game. Tiger brought athletes into the game. We used to smoke cigarettes and drink beers when we were playing golf. No one does that ever anymore.
Well, the guy just won last week with his kid. Yeah, the kid still does.
But there goes my point. Yeah, there's always an outlier. But yeah, it's been a great couple of years for golf, and I'm proud with the role that PGA takes in a leadership role in the programs we've developed that are part of augmenting what makes golf a great game. Yeah.
Jeff, before we get to the close here, for those that are going to that are still ready to play golf, maybe they've just gotten into it, they're excited. What can they do here in the next month or two during the winter to keep that energy, keep that excitement going? And if they say, hey, I'm just taking up golf, I'm loving it, I'm getting better, like what can they do here maybe while the courses aren't necessarily maybe in playing condition during, January, February? What can they do here? What are some tips you think they can do?
As a golfer, this is always one of the most exciting times of the year, right? Because, hey, you just had a year of golf, and now you're getting ready for another year of golf. And there's so many ways to get better in the off season, with domes and simulators and good coaching and just hitting balls or staying engaged once a week. And this is a time I always like to drill down on my fundamentals, like the grip, the posture, the stance, and drills like, hey, what did I not do well last year? Hey, I need to create more speed. I know I look really young, but I could use a little bit more speed in my game right now. So all these things you can do, and every year, that's the beauty of golf, the seasonality of it. And when the new year is about to dawn, when you have a focus and a goal, and you go to the dome and you go to the simulators and you go to the gym and you're thinking about how to get better, I think that's part of the most fun time of the year. And then once spring breaks, hey, we're full speed, and then Kevin's playing, 8, 10 invitationals a month, and traveling, and winning pro-ams and scrambles and all this stuff, and we get to hear about it.
I played the least in 2022 in the last 5 years, for sure. I did. I played the least. Yeah, I didn't play nearly as much as you thought.
You're talking about 2021.
Oh, I'm previewing the 2022.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, 2021. I played a hell of a lot.
All right, good. You're supposed to. It's research. Yeah.
Kev, what do you think are the early big storylines on the PGA Tour here in 2022? We know that in January, the official season kicks off with the events in Hawaii, the Tournament of Champions, and then obviously it'll go to West Coast golf and all those great events at Pebble Beach, and then Torrey Pines and Riviera, and then we'll be in Phoenix, and before we know it, we'll be playing golf here, and they'll be in Florida. It'll be great. But what are you seeing as some of the early storylines with the pros?
Well, the schedule is going to be interesting because I think you'll see him playing more. Like last year we had 50 events because the combined season in the pandemics, but there's not 50 this year. So you're going to see guys play more because they have to. They get those FedEx Cup points. So I think you're going to see more players. You might see more guys staying for the Sony after Century Tournament Champions than perhaps what you'd normally see them staying. And they get the American Express and Torrey Pines. Torrey Pines is always a big one, for the farmers. And that one is ahead of Pebble Beach. A little shift in the schedule this year. So I think you're going to see that. But it's all going to lead up to the Masters. A lot of eyes on Rory McIlroy, I think, early on here to see if he can get the Masters, and John Rahm. Those are going to be two big names, I think, going into Augusta this year. And of course, then we're going to want to see if Tiger's going to give it a go at Augusta this year. Those are going to be the early storylines on the PGA Tour, in my opinion.
I have a question for both of you guys before we wrap up. Brian, Kev, what are your goals this year? I mean, as a golfer, Brian, you're a good player. Kev, you're a good player. You guys play a lot of golf. Have you set your goals for this year? Do you have fundamental goals? Are there swing goals? Are there process goals? Tell me what you're thinking about your golf game for 2022, Brian.
I'll start. I last year probably hit my driver as far as I ever have, and it led to great scoring opportunities. It made me super excited to play. However, I guess I would say I didn't make what I thought were birdies enough to make me happy. So I know that I think if I was going to analyze my own game, I say that I am too conservative of a putter, and I would like to do something about that. And I know that luckily in the winter, maybe I can do something about that. So I'm going to practice, I think, this, and the kind of mentally focus, but physically practice it too, of being a more aggressive putter. I don't know, maybe Jeff, maybe that's not even the right word I should be using, but
maybe try to make more putts as opposed to lag putts up there.
Yeah, I think I've always been a very conservative putter in the sense of I would say I'm very good at not three putting, but I rarely, I feel like, make the ones that I would say a very good player does. And I'd like to improve in that area.
For me, it's ball striking. I drove it very well last year.
So your
I putted
play?
great.
My
iron play. My approach to my greens in regulation were terrible, just terrible. And because I'm whatever, this sounds boastful. I'm a good short. I have a very good short game, and I'm a really good putter. They saved me, but man, I mean, there was just too many times where I get down with a round. I'm like, I hit 6 greens in regulation. How the hell is that? Like, that's terrible.
Yeah.
So I need to get that, at a minimum of 13, I would think, per round, maybe even more, right?
13's tour level, though. That's almost 66%. You know, the best players in the world are hitting. But if you get the
But
more,
I'm not playing tour courses, Jeff.
good point,
right?
and you hit it far. Yeah, but the more birdie putts you get, the more opportunities you have to score, obviously. So it is
Yes.
about proximity to the hole every time. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and part of that probably playing more conservative.
Yeah.
You know, Kev likes to fire at pins.
There's no layup, huh? You and John
no.
Daly have a lot in common besides, you know.
Besides our waistline?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's exciting about golf, though, is to start thinking about the next season.
You know, one of our goals, a team goal here, if I may, is we're looking to add a team member. Or if we get enough, we're blown away by enough people, team members here to Tee to Green. So
trying to make it a good show, that's all. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's been terrible for years, so we're hoping.
We need help.
But yeah, you know, it's going to involve some contributions on the radio show, and we're looking for some contributions offline, but online, if that makes sense. So, you know, you guys know how to contact us. You can do it through Twitter. You can reach out to me or Brian on our Twitter, or Jeff, whomever. We're easily found on social media. Contact us there. And I mean, we're looking to hear from anybody and everybody interested in doing this. So, and even if you haven't done it before, if there's something cool you want to do and try, give us a sample of it or give us a concept. So we're looking to add to our team. And again, when I say anyone, I mean that. We are an equal opportunity. I say employer. It's not really a job. It's a freelance position, per diem kind of deal. But we're equal opportunity with this. So we look forward. I've been pleased with the responses we've got so far from some people in the industry and people outside the industry. People are financial planners, people in academia. So I've been pleased with that. And I look forward to going through everything with Brian and Jeff and all the applicants and what they can possibly bring to the table. So bring it.
That's right.
Contact us.
The only,
because we don't have any fun doing this. That's
yes, right.
That's right.
We never have any fun.
The only prerequisite is that you got to be passionate about golf. We are all passionate. We all love it. So if you love it and you're passionate, like, show us, you know, whether it's through writing, through video, through something creative, like, let's see it. We want to add more to that, to our repertoire here on Tee to Green. Anyway, gentlemen, a pleasure as always to chat. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you both and your families, and to everybody out there.
Yeah, same to you. And I saw your Christmas card, Brian. Beautiful family. It's very, very nice.
I just wondered, did you finish the ice cream?
What's that?
Yes.
One of the photos in his Christmas card, did he finish the ice cream?
We did. Yes. It was at an old school soda fountain place in Montana when we went to Glacier National Park. And so they're known for, I did not know this at all, northern Montana there, everything is huckleberries. Like that's like their tourist moneymaker. Huckleberry.
There was actually such a thing. I thought it was
huckleberry ice cream, huckleberry jam. So they had huckleberry floats. So I'm like, I'll take the huckleberry float. It was very good. Very good.
All right.
And your son's got to be excited for this year of golf. Both of your sons are into golf, and
yes,
your children are golfers now, so that makes it way more fun, doesn't it?
I'm looking forward to seeing what my son can do in advanced in golf. And my wife too has grown a passion for the game. I do have to mention now, because you mentioned the Christmas card. Anybody, and this may include you, Jeff, didn't, and maybe you too, Brian, didn't get a Christmas card from me. My wife fills them all out, and she asks me every year, "Can you give me addresses for people?" I don't care. I don't keep anybody's address. So I don't. Sorry. So
that's why you're off my list this year.
No, there you
get
go.
A card for me. You know why?
I put it out on like Christmas Day on Facebook. Hey, in case you didn't get one, here's our Christmas card.
Very nice.
Too late. It's too late. Feelings have been hurt.
That's right.
Okay.
Right. Well, again, we always thank you for watching and listening, and if you're an avid supporter of our show, we appreciate that. To all of our partners and sponsors on our Tee to Green segments and broadcasts and radio shows this year, we wish all of you Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and we're looking forward to an even bigger 2022. So enjoy the time to relax and be with your friends and family, and we'll be back at it right away, right in January 2022 here on Tee to Green. For Jeff Mietus, Kevin Sylvester, I'm Brian Koziol. Thanks for watching our Tee to Green Year in Review.